think, act, and prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Money Level Show. It is Darrell Dominic, and today I have my boy Eli with me. I ran across Eli's channel when I was actually looking at Dave Ramsey's opinion on gold, and I saw Eli's channel on Dave Ramsey's opinion. And so many of you know me and I used to teach Dave Ramsey. I used to teach Financial Peace University, and I felt like I've gotten a lot of good concepts out of it. Some of the basic concepts for the average middle class citizen that is working, but I did not learn a lot about other things such as our economy, the shape our economy is in, federal policies or monetary policies and things of that nature. And so I began to get into that and kind of go deeper into how do I get wealthy? How do I build wealth through passive income and things of that nature? And so I saw Eli's reaction video to Dave Ramsey on gold and silver. And so I decided to reach out to him. So just wanted to welcome you here today, Eli, with Urban Lifestyle. You can be sure to click his link in the description. So how you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic, Darrell. Thank you so much for asking, and appreciate it. It's an honor for me to be here on your show.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate you tapping in and everything. I say tap in because our motto is to think, act, and prosper. So I just try to keep encouraging people think, act, prosper. So think about the things that we're talking about today. So I just hope everyone taps in. So I just wanted to start and get a little bit of your backstory and kind of how did you get into this arena? Because for me personally, like I never knew anything about finance growing up. My parents didn't. My parents don't have a retirement plan. Things of that nature. And so now I'm really getting into it. I began to learn a lot more about money and what is actual money. And so I just want to see what's your backstory and how did you kind of stumble across this arena or whatnot? Because people like us don't really see this type of stuff or really think about the state of our economy and things like that. When I say people like us, people from the urban community.
No, of course. Well, Darrell, it's looking at the events of my life, it seems like everything aligned right for me. I was raised in a poor background, of course. Mom and dad's from Haiti, and I was born here in Miami and learned English through middle school and high school and things like that. So as far as knowing or learning about money, I did not get that from school. Right? When I actually physically learned about money, like when my mind was open, I was sort of pissed off because I was like, hey, hold on, why didn't school teach me this? I went to school for like 12 years. I even went to college for 2 years, and budget and credit, none of that was even mentioned to me. All I was taught was, hey, go to school, learn math, learn science, get an education, and get a better job.
Yeah.
And that's what my mom, especially being from a Haitian background, that's exactly what my mom and dad wanted for me. When I was 17, I can remember like the month I graduated from high school, I was 17 years old. And then like about a month later, I got into a network marketing program.
Mm-hmm.
And, I stuck around for a little bit. A lot of people may hear network marketing. They're like, oh, scam, pyramid scheme. But something that happened with me was I got a mentor. Somebody who gave me access to a whole bunch of information, told me how to read, told me which book to read. And around that time, it's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a shame to say I didn't understand. I didn't have a good reading comprehension, especially Creole being my first language. So I really couldn't read as good. So I told him that, and he told me something that I'll never forget that echoes through my mind today. He was like, hey, I understand you don't know how to read. Are you going to stick with that, or you can learn? Did you know how to walk? Did you know how to talk? But you learn how to do that, right? You're just learning how to do this a little bit later. And then from then I got motivated, and I was like, you know what? If he says the knowledge is in these books, and for me to understand the knowledge, I got to go through these books. I figured it out. And something I understood is, and also he told me was, success leaves clues. Correct. Success leaves clues. And if you're successful people, they have a figure it out mentality.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had to figure it out. All right. So of course, probably gave me a book. It probably took me maybe a good year to finish reading it. But hey, I stuck with it, learned how to read. A couple of years down the line, I'm no longer affiliated with network marketing anymore. But there was something that, the information, the book, I never stopped reading.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never stopped reading. I still have a library. I have on my phone, I have a whole bunch of books. So I just kept understanding. I just kept learning. I just needed to know more. I'm always hungry. Even till now, my motto is if you're not growing, then you're dying.
Hmm.
Right. So I always want to be in a growth mentality. I always want to grow. I always want to learn and apply what I learned. A lot of people say knowledge is power. I believe knowledge is potential power. I
Yeah,
believe applied knowledge is power.
yeah, exactly.
And that's pretty much how I got into knowing about money.
Okay, okay. Thank you
Hmm.
for bringing that up. You kind of reminded me of myself. I had the Rich Dad Poor Dad book on my bookshelf
Mm.
about 2 3 years, and I decided to pick it up when the pandemic first hit. And
Hmm.
I was kind of shooting myself in the foot, like, what? Why did it? You know, why did I pick this up 3 years ago? I would have
Uh-huh.
already, been further ahead than where I'm at now. But I
Hmm.
appreciate you sharing that. What are some ways that you kind of reach the urban community with this knowledge? Like, when I'm in conversations with my friends, like, we don't really talk about a lot of this stuff. We definitely um, we not really used to talking about it. So when I get going on it, I just get going, and
Hmm.
I go into a bunch of stuff, monetary, fiscal policy, politics, all those different types of things. And so, how do you educate the urban community? What are some ways that you do that? Obviously through your YouTube urban lifestyle, but what are some other ways that you educate people that are not very knowledgeable of these particular concepts?
Gotcha. I mean, the thing is, none of my friends, all my friends that actually talks about this is pretty much online.
Hmm.
Either I met through like how I met you online and
Hmm.
became friends with them. Those are like the way I kind of got into this. Like when I go talk to somebody else, it's like we're not speaking the same language.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not speaking the same language. Like I have a friend, like to this day, I tell them, hey, real cool friends. And I was like, hey, listen, I have this much and this much, and this what you need to do. And not sort of bragging. He asked me, and I just told him. And to this day, he still doesn't believe me. I'm not gonna go ahead and prove it to him, but he thinks I'm lying because he remembers me way back in high school when I used to take a whole bunch of money and just spend it up
Yeah, yeah.
for stupid stuff.
Hmm.
So as far as reaching this community, I was always a fan of video editing. As
Yeah.
far as way back, we're talking about like probably around 14. I was always into music. I was always producing. So I
Hmm.
always had video. I was always doing stuff as far as video. Right. So when I got here and something else that my another mentor I had, he said, he's like, the measure of your success is measured by the amount of people you have coming behind you.
Yeah,
So when he said that, I was like, oh man, that's very smart. So I want for people like the information that I give is not for everybody. It's for those who wants to listen. It's for those who wants something in
definitely.
their life. Because I have friends right now who who's not into gold and silver, because that's one of the things I do talk about, who's not really into gold and silver, but then he, for some reason, something happens, he's into gold and silver,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
he comes to me. So as far as that, speaking on that, it shows that he wasn't ready at that time.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know, he wasn't ready, and now he's ready. But my thing is, I don't. A lot of people, especially in this community or the community I'm in, they think, oh, all I know is about gold and silver. But I wanted to talk about gold and silver because, hey, I believe that's the true form of money,
Hmm.
right? But it's not about having money. It was about the wealth mentality behind it. Because you hear a lot of times where people win the lottery and then they go broke the next year,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
And for me myself, I don't see it possible of me gaining like $1 million and then next year I'm broke. I only see me building on top of that.
yeah, yeah.
You know, the bad thing is I don't play the lottery, so so when you look at that, as far as educating the masses or educating people in my community, or as far as the same color as I am,
Hmm.
they have to be like ready for it, if that makes sense. They have to have an open mind for it. So that
Yeah,
was one of the things I was like, hey, I'm good at video editing. Hey, I wanna, this is a great way for me to build a platform. And this was like what, 4 years ago. Great way for me to build a platform. Let me do this. And I just want to put the message out there for those who have ears to hear. And I'm sorry, I know I took a long time to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
to that
definitely.
point you gave me. I just felt
I
like
know.
that had to be said.
Yeah, you good, you good. I appreciate you sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that reminds me of me. When I had that Rich Dad Poor Dad book on my
Mm-hmm.
bookshelf for 3 years. Maybe I wasn't ready for it. You know what I'm saying? But then
Mm-hmm.
once the pandemic hit, and not having that 6 month emergency fund or
Mm-hmm.
a lot of uncertainty and stuff like that, my mind was open. To being like, okay, I really need to see what is going on in our economy and all of those different things. And from reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, like, I started watching Robert Kiyosaki's channel. He talks a lot about gold and real estate and crypto as well. And
Mm-hmm.
he brought on other people, other professionals into his channel, and so it opened me up to other people. And I was like, okay, so I started traveling down this little journey, watching other people, and then that was how I got that financial education. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so um, so I recently did a podcast on why I love gold, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and thinking about, like, my show, the Money Levels show. Like, I think about it, everyone has a different level of finance when they come into this arena. Some people may be up here, some people may be down here, where they need like the
Mm-hmm.
Dave Ramsey concepts, to start off, but then also start thinking about, like, okay, just buy a gram of gold, or buy, a gram of silver whenever you can, or an ounce of silver. It's only 30
Mm-hmm.
bucks, or whatnot, with the premiums and such. So what are some reasons why you love gold and silver, and why you think it's important to be purchasing that?
I mean, to be honest, the main reason was I got to give the backstory behind it. When I first started, like about 4 years ago, when I looked into gold, I wanted to make sure I had something of value. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember around the Great Recession back in 2007, I was just getting out of school and I needed a job, and I saw everywhere, we buy gold, we do this. And of course, I heard about inflation and how the money sort of went down and back in 2007 and how everything went up. And I was like, so I did my research. I looked up gold and I seen a whole bunch of videos, and I said, hey, you know what? This is something I can go into. Doing a little bit more research. Of course, I did buy some gold. I bought some high premium stuff I shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be buying. Like, I wouldn't buy now, with everything I know now.
Yeah.
But doing more research, what really locked me into the idea was back in back in the year I was born, 1989. Gold or silver was whatever the prices were. I just know it was like below 300 for gold, or
Yeah, yeah.
maybe a little bit above, but around 300 for gold. And looking at the price at the time I did start buying, which was 2016, 2017, and I'm like, man, it went up due to inflation. Inflation goes up, so we always know that the dollar, the value of the dollar, is always losing.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, hey, if the value of the dollar is always losing, this is sort of, people see it as money, but it's also a commodity that other people use as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, hey, in the future, it's going to take more dollars to buy that same ounce of gold or same ounce of silver. It's just
Yeah,
going to take more. So I'm
exactly.
looking at it as far as, hey, why would I want to save money when I'm going to lose 2% by the end of the year of the money I save now?
Yeah, definitely,
you know
definitely.
so the only thing outside of saving money, I only use money, like I only save money as far as my emergency funds, and make sure I have stuff to take care of quick stuff. But if I'm talking about long term, I'm a stash it in gold. If I ever need it, I could take it out. But I'm building securities upon that. Like, I would have to deplete the emergency fund first, then type that dab in the gold or silver.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, I just want to hold it and just pass it down,
Yeah,
just
definitely.
to keep the value of the money. Because if you really think about it, Darrell, people are working, they're waking up early, they're going through traffic, they're spending time away from their kids, their family, for the paper dollar,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the way I saw it is, hey, 20 years from now, the work that I'm doing today is going to be worth half of what I can use for it to, in the future.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I'm spending my life for something. Only one life I get. I'm spending my life doing something for a dollar that's going to be worth less later on.
Mm-hmm.
So I really didn't like that. So I was like, hey, I need to make sure what I'm doing now, I need to safeguard the value of my wealth.
Yeah,
So
definitely,
that was
definitely.
one of the main things that's one of the main reasons why I said, hey, you know what? I want to go into gold and silver.
Yeah. It's really interesting that I talked about the periodic table, and I kind of went to that whole chemistry kind of thing. It's like, okay, like, what purposes do gold and silver have, and how gold is unique of its kind, and how historical artifacts of gold, like rarely show any wear or tear, and so it has a lot of purposes for it. And another thing like I think of is like, okay, with cash going digital, the dollar will be digital in the future. Gold is something that you can always barter or whatnot if our government does get too much power and decide to shut off your accounts or whatever it may be. I could be going too tinfoil hat on that one, but it's something I think of, and not knowing
Of
what's going to
course.
happen in the future when our debt has to be repaid, and whether that's
Of
our
course.
kids or grandkids, who have to repay that. I think about gold and silver. And I did a recent reading on the U.S. dollar and how in 1913 the U.S. dollar could buy you $26 worth of goods today. And you look at how much it has decreased in value and how much gold has went up in value. And so those is why I really love gold and silver. What's your thoughts on cryptocurrency? I know like it's out of the system, it's decentralized and things like that. And me personally, I like the hard asset piece of it. I like to physically control it. I don't want my stuff getting lost in a system or these long codes. Like it's like, okay, what if you get the code wrong? You never gonna figure that code out. I kind of be thinking about that, and I know like the Federal Reserve just approved one of the first crypto banks. I know our government wants their hand in everything. And so, what's kind of your thoughts on crypto?
To be honest with you, I love the idea. I love the concept, and I love it's sort of like I like to call it rebel money. We're trying to keep it away from the government and things like that, so we can have more control. And I love the ideal, and I believe in the future it's going to have a big factor in the U.S. currency. As we know, it's gonna have a big change in the way we view money. And I understand that. But for me, as far as I do have a little bit of crypto, but for me to like say, hey, I'm gonna put a lot into it, I have to see some track record. You understand? I have to see some sort of track record. I did my research and it looks good. It looks good. It's just, hey, maybe it's a little bit too overvalued. I mean, knowing what I know now, if I can go back to 2006, I would have bought a whole bunch of Bitcoin.
Yeah, definitely.
Knowing in hindsight is 2020. I would have bought a whole bunch, knowing what I know now. But at the same time, it's new. I need to see track record. That's why I really like gold, because gold has a 5,000 year track record. And as far as cryptocurrency, like I said, I'm putting like the way I buy my crypto is if I get $1, $2, or $3, I'll just put it aside. And then I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? Hey, let me just take it and just put it into crypto. But it's not like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go hard on crypto and invest in crypto. No, that's just me like, hey, I want to dabble in it. Hey, if it goes up, hey, I made some profit. If I lose it, it really doesn't matter to me. Definitely. But as far as crypto, I still need to do my research. I did a lot of research on it, but I'm not 100% competent of crypto. That's another reason I'm not fully investing in it. I'm not the type of person that say, hey, you know what? A lot of people's talking about Bitcoin. Let me go into it. And I need to fully understand it where I can like break it down. Like if I'm going to explain it to somebody, I can fully explain it to them.
What's a percentage portfolio that you think would be for you personally? I mean, we're not giving financial advice or anything like that. But what's a percentage portfolio that you think you would be willing to allocate towards crypto?
Right now, currently, I have I'll say 1%.
Okay, yeah.
I have 1% on, a little bit less than 1% now. Where I want to be comfortable in right now, like with the research I've done so far, I want to be 5%. Yeah, that makes sense. I want to bring it up to 5% of my portfolio.
Yeah, definitely.
As far as that.
Yeah, definitely. And and it's still pretty cheap right now. I wish when Bitcoin went down to about 3,000, I was like, man, is it going to keep going down or what? I don't know. I was kind of scared at that time. Like, man, I could have got a good percentage of one, but I just thought I was like, I don't know if it's going to keep going down, and then I'm not trying to lose my money.
See, the thing with that, I'm sorry, I want to piggyback off that. See, the thing with that, when it comes to me, because I had the same feelings. I remember it being at 4,000, 3,000. I tell myself whenever I have to debate that, I'm not going to buy it. Reason being is because I want to be in things like when like let's put it like this. When gold and silver, when I first started buying, it was at $18, right? And then when it went down, I was like, perfect. Let me buy some more. I just kept buying and went down to 15. I kept buying more. And when it went down to 14, I kept buying more. And when it went down to 13, I kept buying more because I understood in the long term, it's not going to be in the 18. It's going to go way beyond 18. And fast forward 2020, we see it like lingering about 25, and we seen it almost go to 30, if not hit 30. So it's the same thing. Like if I'm buying stocks, like a company I was in, Facebook, or a company I'm still in right now, Facebook. When I bought it, it was I forgot what the price range, but it was high. And then I was like, oh, you know what? No, you know what? I just want to get in this company. I just want to get in this company. It went down. I bought some more. It went down. I bought some more. It went down, and I bought some more. And now it's way above the price that I, first bought it in.
Yeah.
So if I'm ever like, hey, you know what? Do I want to put money into it and for it to go up? That's when I tell myself, you know what? Nah, I'm out. I don't want to make a decision based on emotions or feelings, or maybe it'll go up. So, staying out of it, don't look too bad. You're looking at it now, of course, you're like, oh man, I should have got into it.
Yeah.
Even Tesla, I had the same feeling, and my gosh, I wish I didn't. I had the same feeling. I was like, is at 300. This is before the split. We're talking about 3 years ago. I had 20 shares. I had 20 shares of Tesla, and it was about $200 or $300. I'm talking about before the split 3 years ago. And then I sold it. I sold it as soon as when I got like a $50 profit or something off each share. And I sold it. And I was like, you know what? I like this company for the long term. Should I buy in? Oh man, no, it could go down some more. And then fast forward, the ending of 2019, we just see Tesla explode. And to this year, we see it go up to 2000, of course, before the split, of course. And I was like, oh man, but I don't beat myself down too much on that. Reason being is because, hey, my confidence wasn't there. Because if I would have put it on there and then I lost money, then I'd be like, oh my gosh, man, let me sell.
Yeah, you almost got to have you profited at the end of the day. You profited, you didn't lose. So that's very important. So man, I appreciate you coming on. I know you got things you got to do. I appreciate you joining the Money Level Show today. Everybody, be sure to go check him out. Follow him on Instagram at Urban Lifestyle. It's 1989, right? I was born in '88, so I'm a little bit before you, but
1989.
We hitting them 30s. Be sure to check out his YouTube channel, Urban Lifestyle, as well. I will leave a link in the description. Thank you all for tuning into the Money Level Show. And Eli, you have a blessed day. Appreciate you joining us today.
Hey, you too, Darrell. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Peace out.
Peace.